Good morning, guys. I have for you a non-Khan Academy assignment for part of this week. For this, you are going to need some paper, you're going to need some things to write with, and a ruler. Possibly a calculator, although Google still works just fine for that. And I'll show you a picture of the supplies I was using. So I've got a TI-84 that some student left in my room years ago. I've got Crazy Art washable markers, the fat ones that I had to pick up from Walmart this morning for my daughter because she's drawing on everything. I've got my ruler from the early 90s when the Air Force's slogan was still aim high, and a good old Sharpie and some normal white paper. Now today's mini project is going to encompass several things. It bridges a gap between geometry and higher level math. It ties together why I used a stack of paper to show you about the area of shapes earlier, and is also hopefully addressing mental health kinds of things with coloring. So a couple years ago, Amazon's second or third best selling category was adult coloring books, and the reason for that was that a lot of people find that very calming. It's a place where you can be controlled and take things at your own pace, and is generally very separate from your work. And so part of today's assignment is to address that mental health bit to, well, give you something to color. The math part of today's assignment, starting in the basic ideas of geometry, is simply finding the area of rectangles and then adding them together to make a new shape. And how this links to upper level math is that we're using a lot of small rectangles, relatively small rectangles. And overall, we're using these to estimate a shape, not to find a specific exact shape like our formulas are doing. But using a whole bunch of small things to estimate a larger object. So I'll show you what I did for my art project now. Briefly, your instructions for this are to draw a shape. It needs to be curved, or at least partially curved. I drew several different shapes to make a composite figure. You can do something as simple as a heart. Star wouldn't work because it's got straight edges. Or just, some sort of doodle. One of my former students that is a psychologist would recommend that you spend this time trying to draw the way that you see this COVID-19 pandemic right now, in hopes that you can see it as separate from yourself, and that while it does affect us and our everyday life, that it is something someplace else, that it is not you, it's hopefully not even in your house, just changing the way that we do business right now. And by creating that space, creating that distance, hopefully that will help with some of the fear and anxiety and kinds of things, other things, negative feelings that are being blamed in the media right now, because for some people this is a very scary time. I actually created this before I put a whole lot of thought into it. I was focused more on the math than on the therapeutic results or possibilities here. So mine does not represent the way that I think about this current crisis.